Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm so excited to do. I'm going to be ranking all of the new eyeshadow palettes that I have tried so far in the year 2023. There's 9. I have 9 palettes to share with you. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, welcome. So before we jump in, I do start my videos with an outfit of the day. We are fairly casual. I was just on a walk. Just have on some black biker shorts and a green tank top here. I did filming a little bit of everywhere for this look. We'll have some going up on Instagram. I'll have some going up on TikTok. I'm sure I'll put some up as YouTube shorts. But the majority of my makeup is also what I used in my last trying new makeup video, so you can check that out if you have not seen it yet. And I do always link all the products that I'm wearing in my description box, as well as all of the palettes that I will be talking about. So like I said, I only have 9 and I'm filming this in the tail end of April. So I'm pretty proud of that because I started doing a video ranking every single eyeshadow palette that I had tried. I started that video topic in 2019. And at the time that I was doing it, I had over 100 palettes. I think even in 2020, I had over 100 palettes. But I have really been trying to make it my mission to cut down how much makeup I am purchasing, how much PR I am keeping, since this is my full-time job and I do get PR packages from brands, and just how much new makeup I am trying and keeping in my apartment, because it can get very overwhelming. So that is a theme that I have been talking about on my channel this year, having a slightly more minimalist collection, if you will, doing regular declutters and that sort of thing. So when I'd had this on my list to do in the spring to rank all of the new palettes, and I went and I looked at my list and I was like, am I missing 27 palettes in this video? But I have 9 I'm going to share with you, and I'm proud of that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So at number 9, I'll say that I like all of these. I used to do ranking all of the palettes that I tried every single month, and I was ranking new and old. But again, in the spirit of like trying to cut down on makeup, I thought I could just do this one like quarterly or something along those lines. But I do like all of the palettes in here. There's nothing that's really a big miss for me. But for me, Colourpop releases so much, and not everything is like an absolute knock out of the park for me. And I think sometimes because they do release so many palettes, it just gets a little bit overwhelming. But to me, it's also kind of funny because when it comes to Colourpop, like I have some that I'm going to share with you right now, and then we have more coming up in the top of the video, and I feel like that kind of happens a lot with the brand. But again, they release so much, there's something for everybody and all the good things. But at number 9, we have the Petals on Point palette. This is a really pretty palette. I think it's nice. I think that it's pretty for spring. I like some of the lighter tones in here. I did a few looks with this palette that I call more on like the ethereal side, if you will. I think that it's easy to use, easy to work with. It's just not something that like jumps out at me. Like this is definitely a palette that I need to keep around because it's so, you know, unique to my collection, if you will. So like, it's good, it's not great. I feel like we're starting off not necessarily in like a fail category, but we're starting off in like the fine category. And then at number 8, another one from Colourpop. This is the Pretty Please. To me, this is kind of like a larger version of the Petals on Point, and they released fairly close to one another. And I was like, okay. I mean, again, it's pretty similar color scheme. I like the colors, I don't mind them, but again, it's nothing that really like jumps out at me and grabs my attention right away. But like, it's fine. I know a lot of people that would enjoy it. As someone who just has a lot of makeup, tries a lot of makeup, not everything, again, is gonna be a... Sorry, it just got announced today that the Oakland A's are coming to Las Vegas, so I got baseball on my mind. All right, at number 7, I kind of struggled where to put this one because I just got it. I've only done 2 looks with it, and again, I like it, but I ended up putting it at number 7. This is from Lawless Beauty, and this is the Lavender One palette. Now, I do like the smaller Lawless Beauty palettes. This one has 8 shades, and I really do like this formula. I got this sent to me from Lawless, which I was super excited to try it out. I have kept their larger palette that's just called the One, and then I believe I also kept the baby one, right? Was it the baby one? No, the Glam one. I know I kept one of their other mini palettes in my gigantic eyeshadow palette declutter that I did at the beginning of this year. If you haven't seen it, you definitely have to check that one out because it's kind of crazy. But I do like this formula, and I also love purple, so this is what is on my eyes today. Again, this is only my second look that I've done with the palette. The first look I did in my trying new makeup video. Then I did this one, and honestly, like I was trying to go for something different than I did with my first look, But sometimes with a little bit of a smaller palette like this, I'm like, I feel like some of the looks might end up being pretty similar to one another, which is why I decided to put it in at number 7. Because even though I like this, I like the formula, this is a palette that I would recommend. If you don't have a huge eyeshadow palette collection, but purple is like a standout color of yours, but you don't have a lot of purple palettes, this would be a great one to pick up. It's easy to use, the shimmers are easy to use, the mattes are easy to blend, and they're buildable, which personally is my preference. But again, it's just not one of those that I'm like, ooh, like I think that's gonna be a standout, because I think I'm gonna end up getting something really similar with each eye look, which I don't mind. Like I like this, I love purple with green eyes, but in the scope of everything that I am reviewing for these past, 4 months, I felt like number 7 was a good spot for this one. All right, at number 6 and number 5, I have a couple of collab palettes here, and these are the Odin's Eye collab palettes. So I was sent all 3. I definitely have one that is more of a favorite of mine because of the color scheme in here. But at number 6 and number 5, I have from Odin's Eye and Betty Jean. This is the Planet Spirit palette. And then also the collab with Lauren May Beauty, and this one is the Sea Talk palette. So the Odin's Eye formula is really fabulous. If you have not tried this brand yet, if you haven't tried their eyeshadow formula yet, I really, really recommend it. These ones are, so you can see, like, even just like looking in the pan, you can see that they're quite vibrant and they're more on that pigmented side, but I still don't find them hard to blend. I don't find them hard to work with. I have been raving about the Odin's Eye eyeshadow formula for quite some time now. They did the collaborations with my friend Angelica, but also their like Somani 2 palettes, their holiday palettes I thought were really fabulous, and it's just, they just have a great eyeshadow formula. So this is the one that Betty Jean did, and I love how much color is in here. I'm not a big color girl myself, so again, I'm kind of thinking of like color preferences. You'll see when we get to the top of obviously like what my favorite colors are. But again, the formula is great, and I was so excited for all of the ladies that got to do the collaborations. And then this one being Lauren's palette, I liked that we had a few more neutrals in there. I did do a video with a look with all 3 palettes, which the other one is coming up soon. And with this one, I wanted to show a more neutral look as well. So I liked that we had some of the cool tones in here, yet still some pops of color. The shimmers, the duochromes that are in these palettes are just, they're so phenomenal, and it really is such a nice formula. And I also really enjoyed all of the artwork on the collection as well. I am an affiliate with Odin's Eye if there's ever anything that you're interested in picking up from the brand, and my discount code is just Samantha. At number 4, this is another collaboration palette, a little bit different though, because this is the Glamlite and Chucky palette. Okay, I didn't think I was gonna quite, I don't know what I thought about this one. This actually was my first PR package from Glamlite, which I thought was very funny that it was Chucky, because I am not, well, I'm not a movie girl, and I'm also not a horror queen at all. I think of Chucky and I think I get very scared, and I've never even seen the movie, but I know enough to be scared. And then especially when I was seeing it, I was like, it's really beautiful, but am I gonna be able to pull anything off with this palette? Am I gonna be able to do a look with it? Again, I will link any of my tutorials in my description box down below next to the palettes so you can see the looks that I've done. This actually ended up being a really cool eyeshadow palette to use, and it ended up also not being as intimidating as I thought that it was going to be, and I really liked the looks that I did with it. Some of you might know that I can be a little bit of a rock chick at times, and I feel like I get that vibe when I put this palette on. Like I want to turn my Slipknot playlist on, you know what I'm saying? That's how this palette makes me feel, which I don't mind, because I usually go for lighter looks. I do a lot of brown smoky eyes. I do a lot of one eyeshadow, just like a Colourpop Super Shock shadow, and that's it. But this makes me feel some type of way, and if I'm going for more of this grungier look, then this is a great palette for me to reach into. The entire collection really impressed me. I'll have another follow-up video coming shortly of other products that I've been trying out, other lip products, cheek products, foundations, things like that. I will have a follow-up video coming shortly, since I've been testing everything out, and I really like to give thorough reviews. I don't do a lot of first impression reviews because I don't personally find them very helpful. So I will have that coming up, but a lot from this collection very much impressed me. And I'm also a big fan of the Glamlite eyeshadow formula. When I purchased their Martini palette like last year or 2 years ago, whenever that came out, that's kind of what made me be like, wait a second, this brand? So this was really exciting to get some PR from them as well, but also a color scheme I wasn't thinking I was going to enjoy as much as I did, but that Chucky palette was sneaky good. Now I just feel like Chucky's like sneaking up behind. All right, at number 3, another one from Colourpop. So this is the Sage the Day. So like I said, Colourpop, I feel like, again, there's not a lot of palettes that are a complete miss for me. A lot of them just kind of fall into that like, that's okay category. But then I have some that I really, really enjoy. And because I did ranking all of the palettes that I tried in 2022, and I broke them up into, you know, 1-minute videos that I posted as shorts, and I had quite a few in like my bottom category. And I remember there was like a comment of like, you just don't like Colourpop palettes, and like there's so many good ones. And I'm like, watch watch my top palettes of the year, because you're gonna see some from Colourpop, including at a pretty high spot there. So that's just kind of how I feel about the brand and like all of their eyeshadow palettes that release. But Sage the Day, I just think is so beautiful. So I also love wearing green eyeshadow. If I'm not in brown, I'm usually gonna be in purple or green. Those are kind of my go-to eyeshadow shades, and Sage the Day is beautiful. When I first got this was basically all that I was wearing. I think the shimmers in here are so beautiful. I love the matte greens. I love that we have some like lighter neutrals, but then we also have a little bit of depth to the palette as well. This one to me is stunning. I have used Sage the Day so much. I think it's a great one. Coming in at number 2 and following on kind of the green theme, this is the other collaboration with Odin's Eye. This is in collaboration with Makeup Just for Fun. And this is the Flora Story palette. When I first saw like the promo photos of these, this is the one that my eyes immediately drew to. Again, like I talked about with the other palettes, I think the formula is so fantastic, but to me, color scheme and what I'm reaching for a lot, this is the one that draws me in the most, which I wasn't super surprised about, because I feel like Amanda and I have similar makeup styles as well, and we also kind of gravitate towards the same colors, which are purple and green, which I just said, if I'm not in brown, I'm typically in purple or green. So I see this palette, I see the purple and the greens, and I was like, girl, what do you think about me when you made that palette? I mean, this is so stunning. Again, the formula is great. I mean, all of the looks that I've done with this are so pretty. I've done some monochromatic green, I've done monochromatic purple, I've mixed the green and the purple, I've done just some very more neutral looks with this one. This to me is such a great palette. This one I think is so pretty. So super proud of Amanda for her work that she did on that palette, and I loved it. And then at number 1, honestly, this was a palette I almost didn't keep for myself. I thought about giving it away. I was like, you know, I love neutral palettes, so I have a lot of them, but I was like, you know, this really is one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. I posted a video, a shorts video recently on my, is it like 3, 4, or 5 brands that have my favorite eyeshadow formula, and one of them that I mentioned is Sigma Beauty, and they did a collaboration with An Knook, and I was like, you know, I opened it and I was like, it's a little bit bigger, and you know, we have neutrals and then we have some colors. I was like, I just don't know if I need to keep it. Again, kind of my goal is not keeping as much makeup, not trying as much makeup, not trying to put the pressure to try as much or buy as much makeup. So I kind of went back and forth, and then once I started trying it, I literally could not put this palette down. In my description box, you would just see video after video after video, Sigma An Knook, Sigma An Knook, Sigma An Knook, and I was like, I can't stop wearing this eyeshadow palette. I mean, it's beautiful. I have mostly gravitated, you know, over to this section right here, but I think it's beautiful to create like that brown smoky eye. I've done a lot of looks with like a, not really like a dramatic liner, but for me, a more dramatic liner where I use like a piece of paper or tape or, you know, something like that, and I create kind of more of that sharp edge. I have a little tutorial on YouTube over here, and I'm using the An Knook palette. That is how I do so much of it. Then I have also played like this line here with these kind of cool tone grays. Not necessarily a part of the eyeshadow palette that I thought I was going to be enjoying as much as I ended up, but then also, like, you know, we got the purples over here. Like, this to me, I was like, this palette came out of nowhere for me. This was a sneaky one. I didn't see it coming, kind of the same as like the Chucky and Glamlite, but this to me is like an everyday. This is an everyday palette. You know, I have some travel coming up soon, which I'm super excited about, so I'm just starting to think, what should I pack? What should I bring? And I'm like, I feel like I kind of got it all with this palette, and it's not like too large and overwhelming. You have a nice mirror in here. I mean, this, I had to give it to the An Knook palette, just the sheer majority of times that I have worn this in the last, you know, almost 5 months of the year. Like, that has been one that I have been going to over and over and over again. So those are the 9 eyeshadow palettes that I have tried so far in 2023, ranking them. I hope you enjoyed watching this. What have you been trying this year? What have you tried that I have decided to pass over, to not buy, to not keep, and you're like, ooh, Samantha, I think that you would have really liked that eyeshadow palette? I, of course, would love to know. But if you enjoyed this one, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll see you in my next one.